that we are ready. We are ready to make our presence felt. We are ready to take over our rightful place as the earth rulers. Don't be shy about that. Don't be shy about it because you're correct. You are correct. Right, let's move into our next segment right here, and timely as well, very timely. Who's this slim woman? Yes. Anyhow, good afternoon,
Greetings.
morning, good night.
Morning for me, afternoon for you.
Hold on. I've done something. I've done. Yeah, yes. I've done my usual. Hold on. I've done my usual. Too much motion and not enough ocean. Hold on, let me just cool that one. Let me cool that one off. All right. You are you are live and present, my sister. Coming at it.
Greetings, Grand
Greetings.
Rising, Grand
Right.
afternoon, family.
Mm,
Those of you are this side of the shore, as in the Americas and all the Caribbeans and all the Africas, potentially,
mm,
but definitely Americas and Caribbean. Grand Rising. For the
yeah.
African continent, it's greetings.
Beautiful. Anyway, my sister, boy, I tell you, today. Um, I don't know if you was hearing some of the earlier on show. Okay, then let me just bring you up to speed for, very quickly. Going through a mourning process.
Mhm.
One of my good friends is passed away, unfortunately, through the cancer business. You know, and also an artist from St. Lucia. Actually, he originates from St. Lucia, and he's passed away as well. Nearest Joseph was the artist, and Clement Shorty or Mr. Shorty, he's passed away as well. So in them ways, there, I kind of like incorporated what's happened in their passing, and then like how we actually deal with that
Mhm.
for ourselves. So that was the theme of the intro this morning.
Mhm.
Then the ancestral voices, as you heard, was El Salvador. You know,
Mhm.
what you smiling for? Have you been there?
No, I haven't. That's somewhere that's on one of those bucket lists.
Yeah. Well, they call that the Black City because it's 80% African black people
Mm,
in there. You know, so and I feel that it would be a good thing to just make a connection.
mm,
Just even if you have the opportunity to go there and everything. I know that when I was working in Brazil, that many people recommended to go to Bahia. They said it's probably one of the best places to
mm,
go to.
mm.
And you know how them live. They just live free and easy anyhow. So like not Naguad.
Mm, mm,
you know. So yeah. So I just wanted to share that I do have a liking for the not necessary the Latin type thing, but the lifestyle that they live, because one of the things that I did experience when I was there in Brazil is that yes, they do have the divide, and they are protective. They are protective of their status.
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
but they wouldn't use directly. They wouldn't use directly like a racial narrative. Yeah,
Mhm.
like for instance, they will allow you to apply for a job, but it doesn't mean they're going to employ you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If I put it that way, yeah.
Mm,
So it's not to say, oh, we're not saying no, but yeah, okay. and they try to be uh, politically correct, yeah,
mm, mm,
in that way. So, but when it comes down to the police, that's a different kettle of fish completely. As you know, it's kind of, I don't understand what you're saying, so therefore I'm going to shoot you. But I'm going to shoot you anyway because you are a different color than me anyway.
I can justify it.
Yeah, that's what they're doing
It's
over
the
there.
way that they do it.
And their
Mm,
their their
mm,
their law their laws of how they engage with with us is very, very, very harsh. Very, very
mm,
harsh over there. Very
mm,
harsh, you know. So
mm,
so let's say years ago, I don't know if you know it. I don't know if you know it, but there was a movie called Midnight Express, and what it was depicting was these travelers who was traveling through Europe, and then they came through Turkey. These Americans, yeah, and they
mm,
came through Turkey, and then they said, "Oh, you could carry some cocaine for us and things that."
mm,
So he saw a quick way to make some money to finance his traveling. So he thought, you know what, yeah, yeah, why not? And then he got caught and he was put into the prison. But his experience in prison means that he would never do them rubbish again. And I think it actually worked. I think it actually worked because all of a sudden there was a lot of tourists who just avoided Turkey just because of that one movie.
if you're gonna get caught doing wrong, do it in your own hometown where you may get the what
Yeah, yeah. And it was,
maybe
it was
some
based on a
people like
true
to.
story as well, because in the end he had to escape to get to actually get freedom.
Mm,
So
mm,
so he escaped, and I think he went to the American embassy and all them things there, and he was
mm,
able to get out. But yeah, it was one of those movies that changed the way our people thought about Turkey. Anyhow.
mm, mm,
Yeah, yeah, that was a good short
mm,
shock,
mm,
short sharp shock.
mm.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm talking. How are you, my sister? How's everything for you, and where you are, where you're going, what's going to be happening for you?
So, as I mentioned before, I'm finding a new rhythm,
Mm,
and it's at that you're talking about losing
mm,
friends that were dear and near to you, and then
mm,
how do we deal with it? So I'm
mm,
still working out how I am dealing with the loss of my mother,
mm-hmm,
and finding that new rhythm, not letting go predominantly with everything from the past,
mm,
or not allowing the past to shape my future in
mm-hmm,
so much as um, keeping in so much as for me,
mm-hmm,
um, remembering the good times and not beating myself up for the bad times.
mm-hmm,
And if I end up beating myself up for the bad times, I live in that space, and that's
mm-hmm,
not healthy.
mm,
So that's what I mean in terms of finding that new rhythm and recognizing that there were many beautiful, good times. And as a result of that, just reconnecting with friends and family, um, and friends that I've not spoken to or connected with for over 20, 30 years,
wow,
predominantly.
wow.
Um,
You got that much life underneath you. 20 and 30 years like it's a nothing. Go ahead.
I remember when I first met them when I came over to Jamaica, and
Uh,
um, kept in contact with them during the 90s, but not during the so much the 2000s and beyond.
mm,
Drifted apart as you do, but making that reconnection again, and it's just almost that, yeah, we our parents didn't live like this, so why are we as children
mhm,
choosing to live like this? And I use the word choosing to because I could have reached out, he could have reached out, we could have reached out,
Mm.
We could have reconnected because technology allows us to do it a lot more easier than we did in the past.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, if I wanted to reconnect, it was in the UK, making a phone call. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
get through, sometimes don't. In Jamaica in the past, if I wanted to connect, it was the one phone in the booth in Port Antonio, and it was a queue to get to, and or taking a bus and the bus into town. And they always talk about Kingston, and Kingston 11 is always a bad area. You don't want to go there. Yada, yada, yada.
It's just like any other area. They need to they need to come to was it not Harlesden, Hackney.
Yeah, yeah. And it's different side of town, but it's got its same different challenges. So for me, it's that reconnection with him, seeing him yesterday, and just laughing and joking, and him talking about his experiences over the years,
Mm,
coming to the UK, coming to the Europe, going with the artist, um, what he's doing professionally, what
mm,
he's doing, and it was just lovely just to reconnect. And then I'm going to get a chance to reconnect with his mother this weekend,
mm,
who was one of my mother's best friends, good friends,
mm,
old friends, going back in the days. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that because that
mm,
ITEL festival with Queen
mm.
Afua, that's been postponed until the autumn.
Okay, okay,
So that's
okay.
not happening. So it's just
Mm,
okay. Um, and sometimes there's a term that I've used in the past, and sometimes I hear it and think, okay, am I just saying this because I can, or do I actually believe it? And it's that everything's perfect and everything's improving.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I believe it.
You're
I believe it.
preempting my strike. You're preempting my strike. What happened to you?
Yeah, yeah. One door closes, another one opens. The question I
Yeah.
would always ask myself and recognize for myself is, am I aware of it
Mm,
consciously? And then what do I do? Do I stand by and just think, woe is me,
mm,
this ITEL festival has been cancelled, nothing to do? Or do I take the opportunity to go to Kingston, catch up with, say hi, because it was his mother's birthday
mm,
on Monday and his other mother's birthday on Wednesday.
mm.
So it's a case of catching up with the two of them and saying hi and just, yeah, getting together. As he says, in theory, we're not supposed to live like this, but we choose to.
Mm,
So we lose the connection and we don't make the connection. And
mm.
sometimes picking up the phone doesn't necessarily mean I want something. It doesn't necessarily
Well,
mean that.
one of the things is that habitually, um, there are those who will do that when they say, "Oh, who can help me?"
Mm,
And I'm not. I don't want to sound like I'm putting them down,
mm,
right? But we're the recipients in most cases. Us in the Europes are the recipients of that,
mm,
right? And it can be draining on the soul. It
mm,
can be draining on the soul, right?
mm,
In the sense of that, oh, you recognize the number, and then all of a sudden you've gone through in your mind already what the process is. Oh, how are you? How's your family? Da 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 da. Da. And then all of a sudden you get the big, guess what?
mm,
You know
mm,
something? I don't know if you can help me out and blah 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 and everything else. And
mm, mm,
and the thing is that if that conversation had finished prior to that the big sigh,
mm,
right, it would have been a beautiful thing. But
mm,
unfortunately, everybody's in other sufferation,
mm,
but
mm,
they're not patient enough to let's say water the plants
mm,
before them start smell the rose.
mm, mm,
Yeah,
mm, mm,
yeah.
mm,
So therefore, it has that stigmatory
mm,
effect on it,
mm,
which is
mm.
unfortunate, really, because as you know, that there are some who are in need, and
Yeah.
some of them who are just manipulating a lifestyle from
Mm,
from others, So
mm.
yeah.
So if I think about that, and like you say, you the phone rings and you see the number.
Mm,
Now that could be a number in the UK, it could be a number in the Americas or the Africas or the wherever.
mm,
What for me, what I need to learn not to do, so if I'm thinking about habits and the habits I have, is not to preempt the conversation in my head.
mm,
Because if I preempt the conversation in my head, that law called Mr. SOD,
mm,
he's going to play out exactly as I've preempted it. But that may not necessarily, but him playing it out may be me listening and only hearing what I think I want to hear rather
mm,
than hearing the full conversation. Because in hearing the full conversation, I can still let you down. I can let you down with love.
mm,
But I may need to hear the conversation because there may be elements of it that I need to hear, if that makes sense.
mm, mm,
The, what I choose not to do and what I need to do for myself is not, like I say, preempt the conversation, hear it out, and then
mm.
let them down with love. Just because I hear you doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be that person. And
Exactly.
then you'll get to the point whereby they don't choose to. Because as my circle changes, and if I think about God in my heart, as my circle changes, you know that you don't come to me and ask me. There's some questions you can come to me and you can ask me, and there's other things don't even think
Mm,
about it because I'm not moving in that circle. I'm not going to be. Um, it's an analogy I heard the other day, and it's apt. Working in the workplace, someone comes up to you and they say, "Oh, how do you do this printing?"
mm,
And you're thinking, okay, they've got one sheet of paper in their hand. What are they talking about? So you entertain them for a bit, and then you realize that they want you to do it for them
mm,
and divorce all responsibility, and then you end up doing the printing and handing it out or distributing it or doing whatever.
mm,
Or do you show them where the printer is, stand with them, watch them put in the buttons,
mm,
and then walk away and tell them, "Yep, you're good to go," because it looks like you've now got it. And it's that different mindset. So I want to hear what you've got to say, and then I'm going to challenge you in terms of before you ask me for help, what are you doing for yourself?
mm.
What contribution are you doing? Like you say, in terms of what garden are you watering for yourself?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
we've all got weeds, but are you pulling up your own weeds before you come to me asking me to
Mm.
put the flowers in my garden?
Yep,
And I'm
yep.
going to challenge you, and I'm going to challenge you hard, so you're not even going to want to call me next time because I challenged you. Because you know that my first question to you is going to be, okay, you want
Yeah.
me to help you, but what are you doing for yourself?
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
Why are you in this predicament?
The what?
Why are you in this predicament?
Exactly.
Because in your space, I know that where you live, if you chose to, you could
Mm,
fling down the seeds from the tomatoes, the beans from the beans,
hmm, hmm.
the seeds from the
And
apple.
all,
You
all,
can
all
plant
those,
them
all
there.
those things can reproduce if they're real foods.
Yeah. Okay, that's another conversation. And yeah, I get you on that one. I get you on that one. But I still want to know what you're doing to help yourself. And if
Yeah.
you're coming to me with a story, we're going to have to unpack that story.
Mm,
I'm not just going to give you the money because that's what you want, because that's the analogy of teaching a man to fish
mm,
or just frying it up and giving it to them. I'm
mm,
not frying it up and giving you nothing. I'm going to be hard. You need to learn how to fish.
mm,
You need to learn how to support yourself. So next time when you think about making those phone calls across the rivers, you may or may not choose to add my name or number in there because I'm going to ask you some hard questions that you're going to feel uncomfortable with. And I've got no shame or no animosity towards you,
mm.
but I want to know why, what's happening in your world, why you are unable to choose not to weed your own garden. when there are the opportunities.
There's some who's just like that, you know, right?
They are, but they will get to a point where they won't ask me because I'm not going to entertain them. I'm not going down. I'm not going down to
Why?
Sunday.
It look like all doors are closed at the moment. The shop is closed at the moment.
So, so every now and again, you see really good signs where they talk about credit and what you can get or what you can't get. Sometimes I need to photocopy these.
You need to take. You need to send them.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, the way how a lot of things are, and they make it sound so easy. You
Mm,
know, the
mm,
one that used to always make me laugh, right? Because obviously we look on it in a different way, right? And there was one campaign. It was over the holiday period, right?
mm,
And it was a Digicel, which Digicel is the local telephone top up business,
mm,
and and part of it was the prime minister. The prime minister, turn around and say that, oh, it's the holiday seasons, so you need to get your credit on your phone so you can
mm.
call your family from abroad so that they can send you money so that you can get your Christmas presents and things like this and have a happy holiday.
Yes, I when I heard that, I did
You,
cringe
oh,
because
you heard it. You heard it.
I heard it, and I cringed because I thought, what are you encouraging? What are you promoting?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so he's probably thinking I'm promoting Western Union and or one of the other um,
Uh,
opportunities to send money, Telegram, whatever, whatever.
uh,
What I heard him doing was promoting lazy itis.
lazy itis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more like let the scamming continue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wicked person, man. Wicked.
Yeah. Yeah. He was whoever briefed him on that one and encouraged him because there's other
Him have sense, man. Why if you say it's right that he, the prime minister, should say them type of thing to people? You take him
because
total disregard.
mm, mm, no,
And
I can't. I can aim to make an excuse, but that is just my aim to make an excuse
mm,
for him. But yeah, when I know when I heard it, I felt a disconnect
mm,
with the message because I'm hearing it in a different light from what he perceived, and
mm.
I'll use that he in quotes perceived the message was. Um,
We
but
don't know.
it wasn't a good one. It wasn't a positive one, and it did
No, no, no.
encourage that needy, wanty, beggy
Mm,
mentality. And if I think to myself, and I use that word brain drain,
mm,
and we often think about the brain drain in Jamaica and how many Jamaicans are outside Jamaica more
mm.
than actually in Jamaica.
Yeah, yeah.
So there is a
That,
hell of
that
a brain
that's
drain.
that's a phenomenal amount, and
Yeah,
years and years of harvesting, isn't it?
yeah, and it
Years
doesn't
and
go
years.
down.
And it's
It's
only
not.
and it's only certain amount you can put on a boat and a plane at a time. So
Yeah, as the people, if they and some if some of them had thought differently and used their mental capacity in a
mm,
different way, you're talking about a little Egypt in making.
mm,
You're talking about a phenomenal race of
mm,
people,
mm.
but they don't all channel it in a positive mindset.
And one of the things, as you're speaking there now, as you are speaking there now, obviously, you know, the way how conditions are, and it's not palatable for everybody. But imagine now if they had a returnee residence organization there, right? But what they did was to have a returnee residence to one of the smaller islands, say just be exclusively for returnee residents,
Mm,
right?
mm,
And in many ways, right? I feel, and although people would love to be in the Caribbean, but they do have that fear of how they will be received, how they will be treated. I know for a fact that health is a major issue out there. Receiving palatable health. In other words, health when they are in their senior years, access to efficient and sufficient medical facilities as well. You know, but even in saying that, I don't know why Jamaica has not invested in that type of investment, because although they have the island there, but obviously the people are not treating them in the way of saying, you know what, we're going to have full respect for you when you come. You know.
so part of it for me is there's a mentality. So I went down to the wharf yesterday.
Mm,
So as we're leaving, one of the security guards is she started with being very aggressive towards an elder and a younger person. So the elder must have been, I'll say over 60 because black don't
mm.
crack. So she could have been over 80, I don't know, but I'll say she.
True that.
And
Good.
then the younger person must have been, they hadn't reached their teens. And she
Mm,
started roughing them up, and then it's almost like she clocked who she was speaking to.
mm,
And the tone changed, and she dealt with them a different way in terms of rather than telling them stop, where are you going, why are you going, what do you want, blah blah blah. She lowered her tone and she directed them where they wanted to go or needed to go because they had already been in that side and they were just
mm.
literally popped out, get a drink, and was coming back. And then she's saying to us in our vehicle that you got to respect the elders. And I think,
But she never displayed that in the first place.
but when she caught herself, fair due,
Mm,
she did change her tone and her attitude and her manner. But it's the first 30 seconds you thought, hang on a minute, yeah, where are you
mm,
going with this? But for me, it's if everyone had that same realization, because I think the first 30 seconds, which is what they say counts in
mm,
terms of your initial reaction or interaction with somebody, that's the bit that um, would or may dictate how the rest of the communication conversations go.
mm,
If you can catch yourself before the first 30 seconds because you can see, and like I said, as much as black don't crack, you can see that that was an elder with a younger person. So
mhm,
you didn't need to do that. Um, but I don't think there are enough people who they say they respect the elders. So if you go into the bank and you're an elder, you can get seen sooner. So the
mm,
queue, you can jump the queue effectively. The challenge you have is that if 60% of your population are deemed as elders or 50% of your population are deemed as elders,
mhm, mhm.
the youngers may get very disgruntled going into the bank because forever you'll seem to be keep constantly moving back in line rather than going forward in line. So the question is, how do you actually square that circle? How do you join those dots? So there needs to be a overall mindset shift. So they do talk about respectfully when they're talking about the elders, but
Mm.
the question is the youngers are not doing what the elders were doing in the past. So
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
go to the market, you're seeing more of the elders rather than the youngers. The, the choices that the youngers are making will be around the driving. They'll be going into certain occupations, certain ways of living.
Hmm.
And
More physical,
yeah,
more physical and laboring type works.
well, I don't even know because a lot of the people that I see carrying a machete and will go down and weed and do stuff like that are the elders.
Mm.
It's not the youngers. They're choosing not to. do that, but
Oh.
everyone needs to eat.
Mm.
So because my thought process is, yep, you're looking to we aim to and we should be respecting them. We aim to we should be looking to um, share their knowledge and their wisdom,
Mm.
and not waiting until they've
Last
passed
last
and
minute lastminute.com.
yeah, it becomes there's a whole library that we lose
Yeah.
as if we're magic when that individual, when that elder passes. Why do
Hmm.
we wait that long to then have to re-stack the books on the shelf
Hmm.
when the books have already been there, they've already been written, but we're not paying attention. So there's a lot that we could do with our elders from a mere respect and listening and um, promoting, celebrating
Mm.
them, that can help the youngest in terms of their decisions that they make in their life going.
Mm.
So I know in terms of the eulogy for my mum, the way that I did it, I spoke about the dash,
Mm.
not speaking about the chronological order of this happened on this date and then this and then this.
Yeah.
And I spoke about the dash, which we all have, but what will your dash say? What will
Mm.
people say about you that is ultimately true?
Mm.
And if they know you, they know it's true. And if they don't know you, they've got an essence of you because you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Exactly. Exactly. And this is one of the things is that we're very fortunate that we've kind of like stepped out of our comfort zone, right, and put ourselves into the public arena, doing like programs like this, um, engaging with I was going to say clients, with our community, with our community, right, to 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 for their betterment, obviously, right? Now, and this is what I want to emphasize. This is the point I want to emphasize. Really, is that when you see or you may see us in the future, right, and we're there like doing a presentation or just talking in a public arena, right? It is just practice. It's just practice and familiarity that has
Mm,
brought us to where we are.
mm,
You understand? So it's
mm,
not to say, oh, you woke up and then all of a sudden you was able to do this thing. Because I'm going to tell you even now, I'm still pressing 10 buttons to get the one effect,
mm,
right?
mm,
Right. So therefore, it's not a case of that. Oh, he, he's a professional in that way there or whatever, right?
mm, mm,
I'm still learning the ins and out as technology moves on or whatever. If I went into a completely different studio, I probably would be totally lost anyway. But but the principles are there, or the foundation is there.
mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm,
So in other words, like the mic, or being in front of a microphone, or in front of like a camera, right, doesn't phase me as much as what it had done probably
mm,
even 5 6 years ago,
mm, mm,
right?
mm,
It is exactly the same with life.
mm,
Exactly the
mm,
same with life. It's our conditioning,
mm,
right? You're pointing out, oh, I'm not going to allow. I don't want to allow certain things to happen to me or people to approach me in a certain manner, right? And it is as you rightly state, in yourself. You condition yourself to be comfortable with what you want, not
mm,
the fact that you may have to state it, but if it's within your inner structure, right,
mm,
within your integrity, right, you'd be surprised how many conversations will be stopped prior to them even thinking about that. Yeah.
mm,
But it's the moment of, oh, oh, they're gonna come and ask for something. You saying that, that means that you're giving them permission to actually come and ask.
mm, mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm,
It's
mm,
like, it's like when it was overbearing for my mother, right? I got them on a conference call. It was a case of that it just happens that they were on a call, and there was about a good six of them in the room at the time. And I said, put it on speaker.
mm,
And I explained my mother's condition,
mm,
right? What her capabilities are, and where I stood with them demanding monies and all the time, every time that they're calling.
mm,
Yeah. Because it seems like they would wait for me to go out at work,
mm,
right? And then
mm,
what she would do, she would go behind my back
mm,
or not ask me and be sending monies to them.
mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm,
And all I
mm,
would see is this crumpled up receipt
mm,
in the bottom of a drawer or
mm,
something like that. You understand?
mm,
Yeah. And
mm,
then when I made a statement, go, no, we're in need of the money more than what you are right now. So
mm,
therefore, no, you won't be receiving any more.
mm, mm,
Right. And then in that way there, it closed it because that was within my integrity.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So it's a case of strengthen your integrity, what
mm,
you actually believe is in you, and
mm.
then that is what will happen. Yeah.
But also your communication was clear,
Hmm.
which again helped them to understand
Yep. Yep.
what you were saying. You weren't giving the impression that, well, it's this month or today, this is
Hmm.
what it is today, but
Yeah.
tomorrow,
Maybe the maybes.
yeah, you know, there were no maybes, there were
Hmm.
no um, um, if or buts.
Hmm. Hmm.
It was a case of um, this is what the situation is.
Hmm. Hmm.
There, you shut that door
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
the possibility of coming back
Hmm.
tomorrow, and that was just from a communication point of view and being clear in your language, and
Hmm.
then ensuring then that they understood, because you could have been clear, but they may not have. They may have chosen to, for whatever reason,
Hmm.
not pick up on it. So you were able to um, reiterate, say it again, change it around in the way whereby they were
Oh
crystal.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Because they will come at you from every angle or whatever, and whatever sub story they will even use the children need to go
Mm,
to school business and
mm,
all them things there. Yeah,
mm, mm,
yeah, and then oh, I can't get on a bus. I need to go by taxi
mm,
and all
mm,
them things there. Yeah,
mm, mm,
yeah, yeah,
mm,
yeah. I'm too sick to go on bus, so I have to go by taxi. Really,
mm, mm,
really.
mm, mm, mm.
I tell you what you need to do, go pump up them tire up on that bicycle and go on about your business. Dear, but I'm not taking away from the fact that there are those who are in a situation that they could do with some help and assistance as well.
Mm,
So
mm,
yeah, we
mm,
we have to be
mm,
sympathetic towards them
mm.
as well.
Yeah, and it's being sympathetic and helping those who do need the help,
Yeah. Mm,
and being prepared to support those who do. And there are those out there that do need the help.
yeah, yeah.
And if the word that phrase that comes to my mind is that crab in a barrel.
So
So what you don't want to do, you want to
mm,
help them to help themselves without
mm,
helping them to help you down.
mm,
And it's recognizing then that um, we can all get out of the barrel. It's the
mm,
choices that we make,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it may You may think, oh, I don't have the opportunity. If you tell yourself you don't have the opportunity often enough and long enough,
Mm.
universe is going to listen to you and say, you know what? You
That's
don't have
it.
the opportunity. Hey,
Yeah.
you've asked for it.
Mm.
This is me rubbing that Aladdin's lamp. I don't have the opportunity. I don't have the opportunity. So then you're going to
Mm.
get a genie that's not going to give you the opportunity. He's
Mm.
going to give you the hard life that you asking for,
Mm-hmm.
because we all have elements of a hard life. We all have the swings and the roundabouts. We all have times in our life whereby we get a butt kicking.
Hmm.
But the question I'd ask you is that, are you going to lay down there for that eternal butt kicking? Or are you going to learn from that? So next time round, when they go to kick your butt, you can just turn around and say, I heard that lesson. I felt it. I learned that lesson.
Mm-mm.
And in learning that lesson, that means you're going to go through a different door, and you're going to be involved in different challenges. It's not going to be the same butt kicking unless you learn the lesson and unless you recognize. And for me, it's a case of recognizing that, yeah, everything's perfect and everything's improving. Where I'm right now, there is something I need to learn. There's something I need to do right now. But there's also that opportunity for tomorrow, for that
Mm.
improvement. Assuming I listen to the whispers, assuming I slow down
These
enough
are the
to listen.
whispers. I like that one.
We
Yeah.
don't often do that. We talk about meditation, we talk about prayer, and
Mm.
some of our family may pray and may think, yeah, they're strong into the prayer. Prayer is a dialogue with the divine, but at some
Mm.
point we need to listen to what the response is.
Yep. Yep.
And this is where your meditation, your midday meditation, your daily disciplines come in. Are you listening to those? Are you staying still or quiet long enough to hear those messages? Or are you just going through and saying, woe is me?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Because look, we have gone through so much already. We've gone through so much already. Right? It's to strengthen ourselves, especially when we're in a vulnerable time in our lives,
Mm,
right? Because not wanting to put too much focus onto you, or focus that you will tell you. I know you will stop me when if it's too much, but times when you just need to just be quiet and to balance yourself, as you stated, right? To balance yourself because you're in a new phase right now,
mm, mm,
right? You haven't experienced this before, right? Passing the baton, I call it.
mm,
Passing the baton.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So where you are is where you have to build your strength. So you're at ground zero
mm,
as such. Yeah.
mm,
Right.
mm,
And then to establish who and what you are at this point to
mm,
carry on, because where you had that safety net of parental guidance, right? It's no longer there at this time,
mm,
right?
mm,
Although it is there in its ancestral realm
mm,
element, but to have that presence is not there at this particular time,
mm,
right? And at the same time, you have to put yourself in the condition of, you know what, what it is, and I will
mm,
survive.
mm,
I will live.
mm,
You know,
mm,
even for me to go through my my form of mourning, although it's not a direct, but it's an indirect
mm,
element,
mm,
because those individuals were part of my makeup as such. Yeah,
mm, mm,
I could expect to go in there, and then we would be there for an hour having a conversation about various things, you know.
mm,
And now that personal interaction is not there,
mm,
right? So therefore, it is kind of like a slice of cake has been cut out.
mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm.
But yet, you know, we can heal it, and we can go forward in our own time, though. Yeah.
Well, if I think about life and I think about life being a tapestry, and it's
Mm,
part of that rich tapestry in life
mm,
in terms of the relationships that we make along the way.
mm,
Um, and like you say, you can then sit down, you can have a conversation, and it's a rich conversation. So they may not be there. So if I
mm,
think about my mother, she's no longer here. I can turn around left, and I know she would have sat in that chair, or she'd be sitting in this chair, and I'll be sitting in the other one.
mm,
She's no longer here. But if I think about um, what that means, so for me, it means then that she's even closer to me.
mm-hmm,
But it may be harder for me now to hear, because in the physical realm, I'm hearing the sound of her voice.
mm-hmm,
But in the spiritual realm, I'm going to need to listen for the direction. And that may mean me slowing down in order to speed up. That may mean me doing that meditation, that quiet reflection.
mm-hmm,
That may mean me paying attention more so to the dreams, whether they be walking dreams in like now, the intuition, or it may be the silent dreams as I fall into sleep at the end of the day.
mm-hmm.
And that's just then, like I said, the new rhythm and picking up on the new rhythm and recognizing and celebrating. Someone once said to me, "You don't realize that your uncle's always by your side, he's always there." And
Yes. Yeah.
I now know that, yeah, there's a whole tribe by my side,
Mm,
and recognizing that tribe and celebrating that tribe and celebrating the wisdom that I can gain, assuming I'm humble enough to listen and pay attention.
mm,
And that's what I mean, being humble enough. I don't know it all, but from what I've been able to gain and gather by way of the tapestry of life, there are insights, discoveries, and miracles that I can recognize and celebrate. So, um, yeah,
recognize
early,
and
early,
celebrate.
yeah, celebrate life.
Mm,
Sometimes, and again, I was speaking to
definitely,
someone yesterday,
definitely.
and she was saying that with her mother's passing, transition, and other members of the family or friends, she says she doesn't cry when she goes to funerals. And at first,
Wow.
and at first I thought to myself, yeah, that was my expression. Wow. But then it
Mm,
depends on how you define the funeral. If you
mm,
define it as um, a funeral as we may have been taught in recent years in terms of the mourning, yada yada, or you see it as a transition, a journey that we all have to go through,
mm,
and what part did you play in that person's life?
mm.
You can
Yeah.
hold strength from those rich tapestries and the rich conversations. So it's not that you don't care. It's not that you are not mourning their life, but you're celebrating their life. And in celebration, you can laugh as well as cry, unapologetic. So I
The
need that.
thing, the thing is, it's celebration of lives now. It's celebrations of lives, right? And this. I mean, this is why, like, even when I started the program this morning, right, is that I was in a state of like, wow, great loss. But I just kept smiling,
Mm,
right? And the
mm,
smiling was just being with my brother there,
mm,
right?
mm,
And just reminiscing on the conversations that we were and the times that we had together, you know. And even when he was feeling down, and I know that he was in discomfort,
mm,
right? He even said that, you know, it's good to just be in a place of non-judgmental,
mm,
yeah.
mm,
um Being in a positive state, you know.
mm,
And you know, even though he was going through what he was going through, he was always willing to try and do something in the positive, like,
mm,
you know.
mm,
So, you know, but like it's like when we was traveling on the bus back from a venue one time, we was just there talking about certain things on the bus, and then before you know it, there was like 4 or 5 other people were just sitting on the bus, and we was all in conversation together,
mm,
you know.
mm,
And then he said, "Boy, look on this now, look on this." He said, "It is like how it used to be
mm,
back in the day, you know."
mm, mm,
And I said, "Of course, I know, the vibration is there, but we just have to just learn how to tap into it every now and then, you know."
mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm,
Which is like that is up to us though to do that, you know. It's up to
mm,
us to do that, in all
mm,
honesty,
mm.
you know. Anyway, we're coming. It's good. It's great to have you back. It's great to have you back once again, right? And we're coming to the top of the hour now, right? So give us some words of wisdom from over in the fruitylicious place of Jamaica right now, because I know said that is it, no, it's not Guinness season yet, is it? Is it
Yes, it
Guinness?
is.
Oh, there you
It
go.
is.
See, you see, you
The,
see, we have them
the,
tasting in my mouth already.
the Guinness and the Aki, the mangoes of.
Yes, I'm gonna have to explain to the listeners. She's saying all these fruits, right? And she's just looking around her garden, right? Saying, "Oh yes, those fruits are available, but because I got them in my garden." Look at this. Stop show off. Stop show off. I'll show you my fruit. Watch out. See my fruit there? That's the only fruit that we have right now.
Well, one of my neighbours, or not neighbours, one of my friends picked a pineapple. And he said, "Here's a pineapple," and I didn't know where it came from. And I was having a conversation with someone yesterday,
Mm,
or over the last couple of days, and they said, "Oh, it came out of your garden. Didn't you know it came out of your garden?" I said, "No, I've not been out there for a little while. Because if I've been out in the day and I've come
yeah,
back, it's too late for me to go out there and see anything. And
yeah.
me and frogs and all the rest of the animals that come out at night, we have an understanding. I stay inside, you stay outside."
Yeah.
So I hadn't noticed that, but I ate the pineapple yesterday and it was sweet. It was me
Right.
one eat one
It
whole
was right.
pineapple.
It was
It
right.
was
It's ripe and ready. Ripe and ready.
ripe already, and there was no fertilizer, no nothing. It took a year to come to
Mm.
fruition, but yeah, it was sweet. So took off the head, replanted it for the. May I have to wait another year, but hey ho, I'm not in no rush. I'm still going to be here, God willing.
There you go. See,
Willing.
make me
Yeah.
jealous. She's only saying that she drops those little gems in just to make me jealous. You know, just to make me jealous. Get on about yourself, yeah.
But it's just nice knowing then that there are fruits that are in season
Mm,
that you
mm,
can eat.
mm.
So day before yesterday, Monday, went to Bath Mountain.
Yes. How did that go?
That was interesting. Very, and I say that with because I enjoyed the experience. So there's a couple of things that I recognise. A, the journey there, you've just got to put up with it because the roads aren't
Mm,
brilliant. That's
mm.
that said, that
That's
done.
that's all. That's all part of the conditioning.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. But that's another conversation. But
Yeah.
the bath fountain. So there were what, about 11 adults,
Mm.
two children. So we're going up in the van, 11 adults. It's almost like the minute that we hit the road that took us into Bath Fountain, there's only one road in, one road out.
That's right.
The locals recognised there's a van going up there.
Mm-hmm.
By the time the van parked and they were helping us with the parking, not that the driver who's been driving for the last 40 odd years got up
Mm.
there countless number of times, doesn't know his vehicle and cannot park
Mm.
comfortably with a busload of people in there,
Mm.
whereby he doesn't harm himself or these passengers. So they're saying, oh, you can back up, back up. And then by the time we opened the door, so there were 11 adults,
Mm.
there must have been 22 people
Ah,
around the vehicle.
everybody there, sir.
Do you wanna I can lead you up to the fountain. Do you wanna come here? Come here, I'll show you this.
Mm.
And you're getting so much noise on different frequencies. Some sending you some of the oils, some of the
Mm.
lotions, potions, some of the I can show you, come with
Mm. Mm.
me, come
The
with me.
hustling was hard.
And it was disgusting. It
Really?
wasn't hard, it was disgusting.
Oh
And
no.
I had to just effectively stop the noise by telling them that I am older than many. There was probably only about three or four of them. I was older than all of them because I've been coming there from 1974.
Mm.
That then shut them up because they realized, hang on a minute, this isn't a newbie.
Mm.
This
Mm.
isn't somebody who I can just drag down there or drag up to the fountains
Mm. Mm.
and
Mm.
do my thing and then charge them a bag of money. Because when they're charging you, what they're not doing. So these are tips that if there are any Jamaicans listening, I would
Mm. Mm.
encourage you to think about this. And I learned this from someone who is a locksmith in the UK, been doing locksmith from 1900 and whatever. And I used to observe what he was doing, but not
Mm.
understand what he was doing. Now I appreciate it. So you want to charge someone for your services. And their
Mm.
services, to be fair, some of them are better than others, but it's
Mm.
like you go anywhere. Some taxi drivers are good, some are bad. Some doctors are
Mm.
good, some are
Mm.
bad. Some dentists are good, some will give you pain. But there's a range. But
Mm.
listen to the person, listen to the people who are speaking. Because people are speaking with a British accent, because you guys as Jamaicans, you do pick up on accents real
Yeah, of
quickly.
course.
No,
Of
no,
course.
let me rephrase that. You're lazy, so sometimes you choose not to
Mm.
pick up on accents. But do the work and listen to the accent. If the accent is a British accent, don't start talking to me about American dollars.
Mm.
If you're going to start talking to me about American dollars and I tell you, give it to me in Jamaican dollars, because we're in Jamaica, let's be real,
Mm. Mm.
you must be able to do your mental maths in your head within minutes, because then I
Mm.
know you're a professional. If you then work it out like I work it out,
Mm.
using my fingers and my toes and my thumbs, I
Mhm.
know that you're not a professional. You're just making it up on the fly.
Mm.
That's number one. You then don't appreciate or know what it is that you have. You don't appreciate your service. Again, you're doing it on the fly. If you've done it and you recognize what you were doing, you'd actually be able to make a charge that's appreciated, in terms of the basic cost of living. What
Mm.
do I need? But the service I'm providing means that this is worth it. So I'm going to listen to you. But when you're offering me all the lotions and potions and come up there and I'll show you the way and we've done this and we've done that, and I look around and I say, you haven't done this and done that. Where did
Mm.
this come from? Oh, that's a cane. Um, but that wasn't there before. It's been there for years. I've been
Yeah, yeah.
coming here from 1974. So let's back up and okay, 74, 89, 70. So it's been there all that time? No, it's only been there the last 2, 3 years since COVID. Okay, let's move on because
Yeah.
you've got
Yeah.
more used to it. Know your history.
Mm. Mm.
So there are things that they can do that they will get paid. But
Mm.
because of this greed thing
Mm.
and because of this dog eat dog mentality,
Mm.
nobody eats.
Yeah.
because they swarm you, and in the end, it's like bees. You bat them away.
Mm.
But the massage, because when I was in
Oh,
January,
did you go in the hotel, or was it on the or by the
I
riverside?
always go to the rocks. Hotel
Okay.
to me seems like um,
It's the same people that they bring in there to do the massage, you know.
I don't know. I don't know because I've never been. Well, I went in 1974. Didn't have that brilliant an experience.
Yeah, yeah.
I know then now that if you're in there and you're in there for over an hour, they come and knock on the door because you can fall asleep quite easily because of the experience
Mm,
that you
mm,
have when you're there. But when you go up to the rocks, to me, I've got my hot running water, the sulfur in the water, which means the pH balance is real high. It's real good.
mm.
I've got the cold water, and they may or may not, depending on whether or not do the massage. So I actually did have a full massage and the
Mm.
mud bath pack put on my skin.
Okay.
So I had it all, and the charge that I charged them. So we've got an advertising, so you may hear the
Mm.
advertising in. So in the UK, when you get advertising, you get it on the TV.
Well, that's one of the advertising QR there, isn't it?
Yeah, so someone's driving along with a car and they've got a speaker box on the top of their car, and they are paid to promote a certain store and a
Yeah, yeah.
seller, etc., etc. Yeah, so I had the full body massage,
Hmm.
um, and like I said, some people do it better than others. So you may query and say, is it are they qualified? Sometimes qualifications don't always happen in a book
Yeah.
because the person who's teaching us in the book is teaching us. And if I use an analogy, something I was watching on the TV here back end of last year, and the person was um, all the images within the medical books, they were redrawing them and
Mm.
putting additional different words because the images were not relating to someone of color.
Mm.
That means if you're doing procedures, you need to think differently because someone of color
Mm.
has, we all have the same heart in the same place, but the nature of our skin elasticity, etc., etc., there may
Mm.
be certain different things that they need to consider.
Mm.
So I get that. So if someone's doing massage, you may not doing it out of a book on or doing it on a mannequin whereby that mannequin doesn't look like you, act
Mm.
like you, breathe like you, live in the same environment as you, may not necessarily provide the best experience
Mm.
or learning opportunity. So I appreciate the fact that they're learning on human beings, live human beings who look like them, but they
Mm.
can still, from my perception, appreciate and understand their art and their craft in a way whereby they can charge money that everybody can eat
Yeah.
rather than the way that they do it, which frightens people away because they said 120 US dollars.
You're joking.
Yeah, that's where they started 120, 140. So
Really?
someone on the bus that I was on, they said that when they did that when they went last time around with their friends and family, they
What,
did
$30 in it?
the person paid them the 140 US dollars and then took them down to the police station because they refused to give it back.
Ah.
And the person saying that you effectively you fleeced me,
Yeah.
and the police were looking for that individual and saying, yeah, this isn't quite right.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why the government wants to take over a
Mm.
natural spot
Mm.
because keep away the harbour sharks.
That's right. That's right.
Control it.
That's right.
But they always complain that, oh, the government's this and the government's that, and the
Mm.
CDC's this and the CDC's that, and they want to come and rip away our natural resources. But you guys aren't looking after it. If you're
Exactly.
supporting me, give me bathroom facilities. Some of that
Oh,
money
something, or something, something, something.
yeah, give me bathroom facilities, give me changing
Mm. Mm.
facilities.
Mm.
And since 1974,
Mm.
it there's not a lot.
mm.
Give me a rail.
Yeah, so you can walk out safely.
Yeah, so I can walk up safely, walk down safely, because there's bamboo there in yeah, you're tripping over the bamboo.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
got the resources, but part of not putting it up there means that I need a guide. No, I
Mm,
don't. But part of my reasoning is make it safe.
mm, mm.
You're going to complain when the government take it over that the government this and the government are stopping your livelihood, but you've had the opportunity to play in that sandpit for the last 30, 40 years, and
Yeah.
every generation comes and does the same
So
foolishness,
foolishness, isn't it?
and
And
then
nobody,
complain when someone stops.
nobody's willing to do anything about it.
And that's it. That's the thing. Why are you not prepared to do anything about it? Why
Mm,
are you not choosing to do anything about it? Then you can't complain. Someone comes and takes away your ice cream because you're
so,
not doing
mm,
you're not doing the bare basics. And it is a beautiful place. The
mm,
water's beautiful. The
mm,
water's not gonna leave a scar, but it's
mm.
hot enough to burn you.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's good for the intestines to drink and to give you a little flush out.
Mm, mm,
It's good in terms of from a purification, from opening your pores, closing back your pores.
mm, mm,
It's good in terms of the massage and using the oils to um, for that flexibility and for that loosening of the joints,
mm,
manipulating the joints. It's good on so many different levels.
mm,
And they could be, like I said, be making a bag of money, but you think to yourself, no, you guys are just, what do
mm.
they say? You've got your golden goose, and what are they doing with their golden goose? Killing it.
Kill it. Yeah, kill it to eat it.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
Kill it
yeah.
to eat it.
Everyone's hungry, and you're thinking, yeah, let me. But that golden goose is the thing that will keep you and enable your children to go to school and your
Mm,
children's children to go to school, assuming you did it right. So I had a great time. Some of us got a full massage, some of us didn't.
mm,
Some of them guys, when they were paying, they were saying, "How do we pay? What do we pay?" And I
mm,
always came back to my perception. My ground zero is pay what you think the service you receive.
mm.
And I paid according to what I would have received had I got the massage in Montego Bay when I stayed at
Mm,
a top ranking hotel,
mhm.
according to what I would have paid when I stayed in a top ranking hotel in Mexico,
Wow.
according to what I would
Well,
have
it does,
paid.
that's, that means they get top dollar.
No, I considered it
Mm,
in relation to what they were charging in those spaces. So those spaces they were charging whereby A, the person had a got on their wall. B, they gave you a nice little comfy bed to lie on,
and everything.
clean towels, and yada yada.
Mm,
But I was looking at it in relation to that, and I thought to myself, that's what I potentially could have paid had I gone to those into those establishments.
mhm.
So let me respect the person who done the massage, and I paid him accordingly, and I
Yeah.
paid him the above what is the daily standard rate of pay
Mm,
plus some
mm,
because I thought it was worth it.
mm,
If I go back and he's there, I will get a massage from him. If I go
mm,
back and he's not there, I will get a massage and I will contemplate what did they do for me?
mm,
How do they make me feel?
mhm.
And everybody needs to eat. If
Yeah,
if I choose not to go and have a massage, then
mm.
that's my choice. Leave me alone. Don't touch me. They will eventually not touch you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But you do have
It's
to
a
talk to them. You do
hustler's
have to,
paradise.
yeah, you do have to rough them up some of the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Because
know that one.
we went to the Blue Lagoon
Mm,
um, the couple of days before that. So at the Blue Lagoon, the only space that you've got is the Blue Lagoon. So
mm,
back in the day, there used to be a nice beach.
mm.
There were boats coming in,
Was it
etc.
as it washed away? As it washed away or blown away in the hurricane and all that?
No, no sandals. Like
I was just about to mention this, right? Because I was saying, what is the position now that that you have a lot of the beaches now have been taken over by these hotels, and accessibility to the beaches have been restricted for the local
Mm,
residents. Right?
mm.
And
But
in my opinion, they need to have a national an international petition towards the government, right? To say that no, you shouldn't. There should be no beaches closed, in my opinion, towards any of the public.
so I'm on the different foot on that one.
No, okay,
So,
okay.
so my reasoning is, yeah, I get sandals, and I recognise in years to come, all
Mm,
those who are travelling to Jamaica, Blue Lagoon at the moment it's free. If you're a good swimmer, you can go in there and swim. If you're not a good strong swimmer, you can rent a life jacket.
mm,
Go see a natural experience, one of the
mm,
many within Jamaica. Don't just stay over in Ochi and Montego Bay because there's beautiful things in Port.
mm,
That advertising being said, because the hotel is being built pretty close, you're going to get to a point whereby when you want to go to the Blue Lagoon, they're either going to charge you
yeah.
or you're going to get to sit in a strip the size of a postage stamp,
Mm, mm, mm,
which
mm,
for the experience, considering what you can do at the moment, it's going to
yeah.
be poor. And I've seen the young people, the children, because it's holiday time now here in Jamaica, just
Mm,
running and jumping into the sea, and just having a good time.
mm,
So when we go back to the charging element, because that's what sandals are going to do. Let's be fair.
mm,
We've got to a point now whereby there's certain ways of life or certain things we expect
mm,
or would like to appreciate. So if you go to the sea, you'd like to know that you can. I know Brighton's full of pebbles, but you know Brighton's full of pebbles. So you walk on the pebbles gingerly till you
mm,
get to the cold water, and then you jump in the cold water and you say, "Ooh, very cold."
mm,
In Jamaica, you're expecting to see sand in
mm,
some of these beaches, and then you jump into the water and it's really nice and warm, and you think to yourself, "Wow, this is what I've paid good money to come out here and
mm.
experience." And as locals, it's holiday time. They want to know that they can get up and they can go to the sea, go to
That's
into.
right. That's right.
However, the locals aren't maintaining their environment.
Mm.
So if you've got a toy and you don't look after it, what happens to the toy?
Well, hold on. Now, it's like anywhere because, like, the streets of London are not swept by the locals.
No.
You get the local authorities to do that, right?
Hmm.
So therefore, why have they not got an authorities to deal with the public beaches,
So the
or
authorities,
or have they?
the authorities are coming in to deal with the public beaches, and as they come in to deal with the public beaches, they add a price for entry,
Mm,
and that price becomes a nominal price, call it $200 for locals,
mm,
and a little bit more for out of towners. So you
yeah,
may define the local as in someone who has proof that they live in the area.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
heard them use that in terms of Boston. If you can prove you live in Boston, then it's $200, and if you're an out of towner, then it's going to be a figure called X.
Mm,
And it's that which means the beaches are maintained. But
mm,
there are still locals who complain that these, I think they call them CDC, they come in and they community development corporation, I think it's called,
mm,
but I'm probably wrong with that. But they will come in and they will maintain the beaches, and they're literally going up and down the beaches around Portland. And the good ones, you're talking about Winifred, you're talking about Frenchman's Cove was always a paid beach, even back in the day.
mm,
Beautiful sand,
mm,
absolutely beautiful sand. There's other problems with that, but beautiful sand. But Winifred Beach, they're asking for, so there appears to be locals. So we went to Winifred, and there appears to be locals with a string and a little um, sleeping policeman. And before you can get in, they're asking for a donation.
mm,
And that donation, they say, goes towards keeping the beach clean, providing washing facilities,
yeah.
providing running water. and providing cleaning, changing facilities and toilet.
I think you need to do some research on that one because like because sometimes there's scamming comes in all different shapes and sizes.
No, so the one at Winifred isn't. It's not official. That
Yeah,
is, I think that's a group of people who've come together to
yeah,
collectively
yeah, yeah,
do.
exactly.
There are others up and down the coast whereby they are physically, and I think they're doing that with Boston. You may need to pay to get onto Boston,
Yeah, yeah.
or so,
There is a website. There is a website what states, what are the free beaches. So like if anybody's visiting
mm,
in the Caribbean, yeah, there is a website. Basically, you just put in free beaches in the Caribbean,
mm,
yeah,
mm,
and it will give
mm,
you a list. It will give you a list of all the beaches there,
mm, mm,
that are free. And I think it lists the facilities as well. What's available on there as well. So it's a case of that. If you want, if you wish to pay, you pay. If you don't, you
mm.
don't, type of thing. But
No,
in many cases, obviously, the condition of these places are gonna be varied as well. So
mm.
yeah,
Well, I'd say anyone who sees something that says, yeah, they've got toilet facilities, women definitely walk with your toilet roll.
mm,
Um, but even though they say toilet facilities, they may not necessarily have, as we pursue,
mm,
assume toilet facilities, which are clean and you feel
mm,
comfortable using.
mm, mm.
If they've got a problem in terms of water shortage, the toilet facilities aren't going to work.
You know what crossed my mind right now is someone walking with their own toilet seat. He just- he- I know my mind can be twisted at times, but it's just one of those things.
There's a few things I walk with to the beach,
Like, coming wrapped around his shoulder. Just like,
but
yeah.
no, but even with Winifred,
Mm,
there was the first time when we went there with the cousins and etc. The family.
mm,
There were there was a water shortage. There was only one pipe working. This
yeah.
is a beach that potentially had, so call it 100 people,
Mm,
one pipe working. So my reasoning is you're asking for a donation as I'm going in. I don't
mm.
have a problem giving you a donation.
But
But
make
then
sure
you
that
need to
everything's
ensure
working.
that the facilities are working. I
Mm,
know that within Jamaica, water shortage,
mm,
but that's why within Jamaica you've got lots of houses that will have that big black
mm,
butt on it,
mm.
water butt that collects the water.
Yeah.
Why have you not purchased one of those for that facility? And that's why I say I don't have a problem with them charging as long as they maintain, because those that are doing it for free and
Mm,
or taking donations aren't necessarily. So you go on the beach and think to yourself, you know what? This beach
mm.
should be clean.
Yeah.
You're taking a donation from me. When we went to Bar Fountain, there was one man, brother, who was picking up the leaves.
Mm,
And I'm thinking to myself, this should be cleaner because you guys are taking money.
mm,
So there should be two people picking up leaves to make it quicker, to make it easier,
mm.
and split the difference. But everyone's looking out for number one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So be prepared to pay for what you want.
Yeah.
Free
Yeah.
doesn't always mean good.
Mm,
There's a beach by me which is free, and some years I've come in, I thought to myself, you guys need to pull your finger out and do something about this space.
mm, mm.
It's a beautiful space. They've now since in the last couple of times I've been here, now they're pulling out their finger to do something,
Mm, mm.
cleaning the beach, raking it on the morning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can see
Even if it's the
the
morning. Yeah. Even
yeah,
if it's the morning to remove the wash up.
yeah.
Yeah.
The other day when we were traveling to Bath Fountain, and I was looking out at the sea, and I saw the algae, the brown algae that I was reading about in January. That's
Mm,
going to be coming over to this side, well, hitting the Caribbean, and in some spaces it's thicker and more dense than it has been in previous years. And I was looking at it, and I was thinking to myself, that's going to require someone with a lot of effort, more than once a day. If that gets onto that beach, they
mhm,
need to put up the reef around to stop the algae coming in as much as possible, and then someone needs to clean the beach. But no one wants that responsibility. They'll make a phone call back
mm.
to ourselves in the UK saying, "Help me."
Like the English pound of work for them.
Yeah. So
I know that
I
one. I know
hear
that
you in terms of it's not always the locals. There needs to be something available for the locals, but the
one.
locals need to recognise that.
Well, you know what? There's enough of them out there who can do that because there's a thing called community service.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
you know what? Rather than you run around go kill off people, you can come and maintain our public services for your
Mhm.
people. Work for your people. You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
because boy, I tell
Everyone
you,
can be happy.
huh?
Everyone can benefit. Everyone can benefit. Everyone will be happy.
Yeah, you know.
Definitely.
But you know, it's one of those things there, and I'm glad that you touched on the beaches because that was one of the things that I read last strong. I was
Mm,
reading some articles on there.
mm,
There was
mhm,
there was a meeting as well about access to the beaches. You know,
mm, mm,
some demonstrations as well that was
mm,
there.
mm,
Um, even to the fact that obviously you know things are tight. Things are tight for a lot of people there. And like they were saying that the visitation to the beaches, where like the businesses that was on these beaches, they 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 were on the verge, or a lot of them were on the verge of like closing
mm,
because of the lack of business what they were receiving. You know,
mm,
so that's the reason why I just thought I'd bring it to conversation because you know even up for us to have a discussion about it, right, could
mm,
highlight it for those who are out there or going on holiday and then think, you know what, I usually just go to the one beach, right?
mm,
Not
mm,
realizing the other beauties of the island, right?
mm,
And it's not necessarily only the beaches, but like, you know, there's some inland um attractions as well,
mm,
you know. So,
mm,
you know, you should explore, you should be willing to go and explore the entirety of the
mm,
place
mm.
to the extent of what we can do. Question, my sister. Have you
Mhm.
been have you been to the Marcus Garvey Memorial?
No.
You haven't been to there. Okay then.
No.
Okay. Um who else? Who else was there? They moved the figurine of the poor Bogle. Do you know where they moved it to? Because it was outside the court, wasn't it?
I don't know where they moved it to. I think I remember them talking about it, but I don't
Mm,
remember where they moved it to.
mm.
Don't remember.
Yeah, because it was outside the old court, wasn't it?
Mm, mm,
Yeah, yeah. So that you know, just you know, just to have it in my mind of
mm.
where these things are.
Well,
Um,
what they're doing, you mentioned Marcus Garvey and Paul Bogle, so both of those individuals are on the new banknotes.
mm,
So Marcus Garvey has got his own banknote in
mm-hmm,
its own right, front and back. He's not sharing it with anyone. Um, and Paul Bogle. So what they're aiming to do as part of the banknotes is highlight individuals in society who have made a great impact.
honors,
Um,
honoring.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Um, so I know when they were talking about Paul Bogle, I was in St Thomas. So
mm-hmm,
again, they were talking when they were talking about the Jerk Festival in Boston. They were also talking about St. Thomas, which is just down the road from
Mm-hmm.
Boston,
Mm-hmm.
and the um, cultural history
Mm-hmm.
and the natural resources that are that side, which rather than everyone, when you get to Jamaica, you stay in or you go to or you head towards the Ochis, the Montego Bay, and the Negril and camp in your hotel when there's so much opportunities outside of your hotel that you can use both of them and enjoy both of them to the maximum. So, like you talking about the um, beaches
Mm-hmm.
and making use of the beaches, I would say make use of the natural resources.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe case of taking a Knutsford, which is the equivalent of National Express.
Yeah, no, that's another thing because like Ratcha now. I don't know if you've traveled on it yet,
Hmm.
but the train.
Oh no, I've not travelled on the train. I've seen it, and I
Mm-hmm.
remember travelling to St Elizabeth and the bus having to wait for the train to go past, and all the people in the bus, because we're country people, to be
Yeah,
fair,
yeah, yeah.
would
Oh, why
say
that?
about this thing called a train. But this was pre-COVID, so I'm not sure how
Yeah.
whether or not how the train is,
Mm,
where it's running to and from.
mm,
So
mm,
make use of the Knutsford, which is a bus service that has an inter-island reach. Capacity is very much a daily basis, but the capacity is moving people plus and all goods um, packages like you
mm,
would the Royal Mail. But the train, I'm not sure where it starts and where it ends. But what I would encourage in that anyone who's coming to Jamaica is just
mm,
explore.
mm, mm, mm.
Jamaica, Jamaica's dangerous, but it's just as dangerous as parts of London, Birmingham, Manchester, Scotland.
You know, you know, the way I see it is that obviously you have to have your wits about you,
Yeah, exactly
right?
the same.
If possible, have somebody there to um to to actually guide you, yeah. And yeah, don't remember you're a tourist, so
Yeah,
therefore you are going to be fair game in whatever way they can. Yeah.
you're gonna be someone's meal ticket,
Mm, mm,
but um, if you treat them with respect, you can work out those who are abusing your high nature
mm,
against those who are genuine,
mm,
um, and and when I say genuine, I'm saying genuine with a capital G,
mm, mm, mm.
because if we go through life thinking that everyone's out to get us, we're going to find everyone who's out to get us.
Yeah, yeah, they will catch you.
Yeah.
They will catch you.
We'll, we'll hang with that group, but that's not
Mm,
the group we
mm,
want to hang with.
mm,
But it's there are genuine people out there that will take you from point A to point B and charge you exactly the same as they charge the locals.
exactly, exactly.
Um, and if you're prepared to barter, they will ensure then that you're paid this,
Mm,
you're charged the same as a local. It's when you um, go out there with an air of superiority
mm,
that you may get yourself found out
mm,
in by way that you get taken advantage of.
mm. Definitely, definitely. One other thing I would like to know, right? Obviously, things are changing out there economically, and now the digital. And I saw a news. I think it's a news report, and it was only yesterday that I
Mm.
saw. I don't know if you're familiar with it, right? But you had um, you had the prime minister And the way he was talking, it was like no matter what we say or do, what the what's going on here? That you no matter what you say or do, they were they were leading to the digital currency,
mm,
right? Or
mm,
they've put things in place to incorporate the digital currency,
mm,
yeah,
mm,
or digital banking,
mm,
right?
mm.
So in saying that now, right, and because of the financial divide between the rich and the poor,
Mm.
right? How do you see that that is going to be to their advantage or disadvantage for those out there in the Caribbean?
So I'll talk about for those that I can see around me, so the experiences
Mm,
that I have around
mm,
me. Um, Bearing in mind computer literacy
mm,
isn't as high in Jamaica as it is in the UK.
mm,
It's going to be a disadvantage to you. Your divide within the society is going to be even greater
mm,
in terms of the haves and the have-nots. Um, so the younger generation, like in most parts of
mm.
the world,
Say that again. Sorry. Say that part again. Sorry. The
the
younger
younger
generation.
generation um, are becoming accustomed to it.
Hmm.
And that's in so much as mobile phones and from a
Yeah.
digital point of view and understanding mobile phones. And I think that's their first point of call. They're going to school now and they're getting access to tablets and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And they are most mobile phone contracts, the new ones, they're either giving away a phone or a tablet. A number of them will give away a phone or a tablet. So they encouraging the usage of the technology.
Mm,
The disadvantage is the and they're putting up the mask like they do in the UK. The 3G, actually Jamaica had 4G before the UK, and they had 5G before.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. The experiment has to go on somewhere.
Yes, yes. And they're following the US barometer.
Mm,
Um, so the technology's here, but do the locals, as in the average local, understand it?
mm-hmm.
And say no.
Hmm.
When we think about
Because
population,
the thing for me now, obviously, for everyone to get up to speed, there has to be some form of financial education,
mm,
right?
mm.
Or are they leaving it to the whims and ways of self education,
So
right?
there are morning, morning. So there are so on the national radio station,
Mm,
RJNR, they do clips on a weekly basis where they talk about digital currency and they talk about these areas. The question is, are who's
mm,
tuning into it? Is it 90% of the population or is it the normal market share, which is probably about 30%, 40%?
mm,
Um, they talk about it on the TV, they talk about it in the papers. But again, the people who need to know, as in the majority, are they all reading the papers, listening to the news? And I'll say no, no, and no.
mm, mm,
So how are they going to market this in the wider context? And therein lies the challenge, which is why I say you'll have your haves and your have-nots.
mm-hmm.
The younger generation will be aware of it and are encouraged to use it. The older generation, and this is a society of, I don't even know what the percentage is. It appears to be there's a lot more older people than younger people. But I don't
Mm.
actually know what the pure percentage is.
Okay.
But I think that they will struggle here with
Yeah.
my experience of just having the technology and having technology that works without even being able to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
everyone having that Wi-Fi, having access to Wi-Fi. Um, I appreciate Wi-Fi in the UK because I have no. Once I pay my bill, I have no problems because the provider is a good provider. They
Okay,
can
okay. So you don't have the fluctuation of service.
in the UK, I don't, and I lived in a space where I didn't have problems with hotspots, down spots, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But in Jamaica, the service does fluctuate, even in terms of the network that I'm using at the moment. When my cousins were here and a number of us were on our devices, you could see it kicking in and kicking out. So I thought I was just the lucky one that it happened to, but it happened
Mm,
to on different Android and or Apple devices. Um, so it's something with the network rather than something with our device because we can't all be fortunate in that way. So my perception is if you're going to use the digital currency and you've not got the infrastructure to match it,
yeah.
let alone the education, that will always slow it down.
Mm,
The
mhm,
thing about
mhm.
what they're doing there over here is that they are talking about it. So that's good that they're talking about it.
Yeah.
But there's lots of parts of the community that it just won't work. They just
Mm.
don't have
It won't.
the
It won't be ready. It won't be
no,
widely available in
no.
every area. Okay.
Very so many people do the hustle, do the I'm going to stand up on the street corner and
Mm,
I'm going to sell my. So there's someone that sells fruits and fruits predominantly, but he sells it according to it. He's not been open for a while, and for the
mhm,
school, I figured that most of his clientele or customers were people from the school and all the children and all their parents.
mhm,
But I can't see him investing in the technology for the digital currency,
mhm.
um, whether it be the devices that you handhold and you can swipe your the
Yeah.
amount and you swipe your card. I can't see it happening.
Mhm,
But there
mhm,
are so many people like him up and down the street. Your big supermarkets, yeah, I can see it working there.
mm,
Um, but even the fact when you go into so in the UK, every till you go to, they've got their own unique machine where you can swipe. This side of town, they've got one in the whole store. So you hear Sandra calling across to Sharon to say, "Can you pass me the card machine?" And you're thinking, "You what?"
yeah. 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 One
You
machine.
one machine for the whole store, and
It's
you're
crazy.
thinking, it don't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all the supermarkets I've been in. If what someone needs to use the card machine, they're
Mhm,
calling their colleague 2 tills down to say, "Can you pass it to me?" It
mm.
shouldn't be so. If you're looking at digital currency, you need to make sure you've got the
Well, the thing is that the way I see that is control. That's control, right? So they know that one is in circulation, right? And they need to do some kind of transaction through the card machine. They
mm,
know say that we've only got one, so
mm,
therefore we're only looking at one source of revenue. If they got two, they got two,
mm,
right? But
mm,
then again, that leaves it vulnerable for somebody else to bring their own private one in,
mm,
right, and
mm,
skim off the top.
mm.
That's
Or not.
that's that's my thinking
Mm,
around
mm. And it makes perfect sense. Creative people,
it.
creative people.
Yeah, you know.
So where there is an opportunity, you're going to get someone who will take advantage of the opportunity. So some
Uh,
shops you go into and you think to yourself, wow, there's someone sitting down there looking at all the screens,
mm,
and they are looking at all the screens, but they're not only looking at the screens for us as in customers, they're looking at
mm,
it
mm,
for the
mm, mm,
staff
mm,
as well.
mm, mm. Brother Kwame sent a message saying that the statue of Paul Bogle needed repair, so they may have taken it down for that purpose.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. They
I
may have.
know, yeah, I know that makes sense. That makes sense because they are doing a lot more to promote.
Mm,
they're doing a lot more to promote national heroes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is good. Which in many ways is good because it expands the tourist and obviously or tourism, sorry, and obviously it gives a national pride as well, right? How can you have all the athletes all of a sudden being the top people of the island, right? What about Mister and Mister Spelling Bee? Hmm? All them things there,
Mm,
yeah. Because
mm,
like look for the rights and wrongs of what's happening in the Caribbean or throughout the Africas, right? We need to have a more of a balanced view on our successes, right? So it's not necessarily a footballer or a basketball player, right? But remember, just as much as they are putting the effort in to do what their skills are, others are doing theirs as well. Yeah, yeah,
mm,
they're doing their part to do what they do, and they specialize in that.
mm,
And in that way, they share the notoriety, right? I feel that it'd be a lot more balanced and better for a lot
mm,
of lot of people. Right, we've got 15 minutes, 15 more minute horse. 15 more minutes horse. Is there anything special you would like to share with us today?
um,
Apart from the price of fish.
that's $1,000 a pound.
Dang. How much?
$1,000 a pound, and $100 to clean. But it's
You
cheaper
are
than.
crazy.
Mm,
$1,000 a pound?
mm,
Whoa.
mm,
That's like a tourist trap in itself.
mm. It means that it does eliminate the some. So the challenge that you then have over here is that there's a lot of people then that can't afford it.
Mm.
Okay.
That's what that's
So
what
then,
that's why I'm saying that.
so then when the fishermen go out, some of them will, or some of the locals will go out and go fishing. They
Mm.
will pick up fish. So they're going to pick up the piddly little fish
Mm.
rather than allowing them to stay and grow in the city because they're hungry.
Mm.
So when they set their pots, they're going to pick up whatever's in the pot rather than throwing back the
Mm.
little fish. So then you've got an economical system
Mm.
that doesn't flourish in the way it can or
Mm.
should, just because of
It's
the
not it's
decision.
not regenerating itself.
No,
Mm.
no,
Mm. Mm.
no.
Mm.
So for me, if I think about the opportunities that are here, and I think the opportunities each and every one of us have, we all
Mm.
have opportunities. The question I'd ask is, what are you doing with your opportunities?
Mhm. Mhm.
What opportunities are you allowing to pass you by? What opportunities are you grabbing with both hands? And in grabbing with both hands,
Mm.
you're making the most of it.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, we're all going to go through the ups and downs in life. And if you don't have ups and downs in life, that in itself
Mm.
is a challenge. Because if everything's
Mhm.
perfect, that in itself is a challenge.
Mhm.
Bearing in mind we're living in an imperfect world.
Mhm. Mhm. There's one thing I would like you to do some research on if it's possible, right? Current what do you call it? Current conditions. No, no. Let me get this right. The current investment opportunities, right, for building or development, building and development. Yeah, in Jamaica. I've been watching a few of some videos of individuals, but these are a few years 3 years old now, right? They're a few years old. So in many ways, I feel that probably the information there is going to be outdated, and because of the changes that has happened, right? That there may be some changes in how things are actually processed. In other words, like land registry. Um, what is the possibility of actually building, for instance, like a commercial building or commercial facilities? Yeah, it's got like a shopping complex, for instance. Yeah. Um, is there any inner city developments that is actually coming through, like like how you would have like a Westfield type of thing, which I'm very surprised that they haven't done yet out there at all. I'm very surprised they haven't got something like that there, um, which I feel that would be very beneficial for the area of Jamaica in that way, because even if they put one in the port areas, where the big ships come, right? That would, I know, that would attract it would, yeah, because there are thousands of people just flooding it while the ship is in dock for that day, and then off it
So
goes.
mm, I'm getting a bit of noise back here, which I
Yeah,
think you can hear.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's the time for work now, isn't it? It's the time for work now out there, right? So we got another 10 minutes, anyhow. We got another 10 minutes here, right? See, says Sister Sandra. She's removed ourselves to in the inside. It's the first time I've been in there your house.
So one of the things that you said in terms of um, complexes and building. So yes, they have been and they are putting up buildings. One of the buildings that they've, or some of the buildings they put up, the
Mm,
logic and logistics. That means so that means they put up the equivalent of a shopping mall.
mm,
But the way that it's located means to get to it, it doesn't make it easy to get into or get out of because of the road situation. So they've built it in isolation. Yeah, good idea, but they've not considered how the road is currently laid out.
mm,
So there's a lot of chatter. There was a lot of chatter in terms of when it gets up and running, assuming it does get up and running and all the lots are filled, will people use it? And the chatter is around no.
mm, mm,
So that's in Ochi's side.
mm,
So over this side, in terms of Port Antonio, again, they're talking about whether or not to move the market from where it was to a new location,
mm,
which makes it accessible to enter from different directions. Because at the moment, where the market is, there's one way in, the road's really congested, and you continue that road to take you out, or because of how it's and where it's situated, it's
mm,
just a congested area. It's always been there historically, so will the people want to move? So the ideas are around the building. The
mm.
regulations are in place. Some of the regulations are being ignored, or
Okay, okay.
they argued it goes to court and legislations. They follow the legislation, but they don't follow the spirit of the legislation.
Mm,
So there's properties up and down. There was one in Kingston whereby they even though the ruling hadn't been made, they'd continue. The contractors have continued with the building.
mm,
Would they be able to get away with that in the UK? Sometimes, sometimes not. But they are looking at it because they were seeing that sometimes there was the backhanders that were enabling those buildings to be put into place.
well, obviously, isn't it?
That happens in the UK just because we think it's Jamaica or the Africans. It only happens over here. It
It
happens
happens
in
all
the
over.
UK.
It happens all over. Come on.
there's always a golden handshake, and there's often a conversation to be had that may not be
mm,
in the spirit of all parties rather than individuals who are
mm,
making a gain.
mhm,
Let's put it that way. Um, so yeah, I'll keep an eye out more so in terms of what's actually happening on the ground. But there are buildings and constructs that are going up. Um, do the locals want to move out of what they've known and loved and respected over the years to a new shiny building?
mm.
It may not
Well,
always be the case.
that is what everybody's expecting, though, isn't it? Yeah.
See, if you're moving out to that new shiny building, the conversation and the questions around it are, can you then afford the rent?
That is the conversation that we could lead into on our
Mm,
next encounter, because
mm,
obviously cost of living over there is gone through the roof, just like how
mhm,
it has over here, right?
mhm,
People, you know, basically the majority of the inhabitants of the island are not going to be able to afford that,
mm,
because even the costing of housing there, you know,
mm,
you're talking you know, millions,
mm,
half a million pound for a house and things
mm,
like this,
mm,
you know.
mm,
And I'm
mm.
talking about English sterling, you know. So
But
so therefore, where are they getting that income from to, or who's going to be able to afford to buy housings in these gated communities, right? To say, okay, then, we can buy a house here for like 300 or $400,000,
mm,
right?
mm,
But yet, uh, are we going to actually be able to maintain or have an income over there to maintain that, unless you actually have a lump sum of money, right? Or
mm,
good income from other places that you can actually maintain that, you
mm,
know.
mm.
It's and that's the reason why I want to have that conversation, really, because you know, are they just building housing for big money people or international money people, but not the locals, you know?
Look, they are doing it for the locals. So I remember listening to someone that adverts is around putting your starting the savings early doors when you're
Mm,
young, that you can save for the home of your dreams. And they talk
mm,
about different. I'll use the word project, but I'll do it in not projects as in American projects, or my perception of American projects, but in terms of areas or schemes. So you can put your name down on the housing scheme. So they use the
mm,
word scheme rather than project.
mm,
Um,
mm.
and that those
Are,
are then held
are
on.
they intending to give you generational mortgages then? Are they talking about like the 100-year mortgage and things like they do in Japan and things like this?
So they're not talking about generational mortgages. Um, they're talking about mortgages of, they're talking about the same length of terms as you do in the UK in terms of 30, 35-year mortgage.
Wow. Wow.
Mm,
Wow.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Yep. Yep.
mm,
25. It was when I bought my first place. It was 25 years.
mm,
But
mm,
now 35 years.
mm.
Boy, that's a good job that you've got. You can maintain something for
Mm.
35 years, isn't it? Yeah.
I'll look into it some more in terms of
Yeah, 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 yeah.
what
Just to get an overview, just to get
mm,
an overview
mm,
of it, really, because you know, let's talk about the reality of where people are and what they have to go through. You know,
mm,
it's very.
mm,
It's I feel that it's important that we get a good perspective of like what they're actually facing themselves. You know, even though
mm,
we're facing our predicaments here, but
mm,
you still have to look at like what is it actually happening over there. And the thing is, it's not only there, but it's throughout the whole of the Caribbean as well.
mm,
You know,
mm,
it's throughout the
mm,
whole of the Caribbean. So it's not
mm,
like everybody's sitting pretty, or
mm,
everyone's there relying on foreign income to
mm,
maintain the building that you're probably only going to be in there for like 2 or 3 or a month at a time,
mm,
a year.
mm,
You
mm,
know, so you'll have these empty units
mm,
or empty houses, and people only go in there for, as I say, for about a month or so, a year, because that's all
mm,
they can afford to live in them.
mm, mm, mm,
You know, it's crazy. It's absolutely
mm,
crazy. Anyhow, we're coming to the top of the hour, right?
mhm.
Summarization, my sister. Give us some good news. Give us some good vibes, man. Come on.
Well, for me, I'm going to summarize with everything's perfect and everything's improving, and
Mm-hmm.
we are all living on schedule, and we if you know your purpose, you're living on purpose. If you don't
Mm,
know your purpose, then work it out.
yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. So, right, we are coming to the top of the hour. Next presenter will be Sister Nawa. All right. So until then, have a great,
Mhm.
great, great time. Right. The weather's beautiful as well out there. So let's all go out and get a Guinness then and just enjoy life, innit? Yeah. As Sister Sandra sorts out her bestest bikini and she's going off to the beach.
Not to
Go.
the beach. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go gather some spring water.
All right, then spring water. Okay, spring to
Yeah,
it then. Spring to it.
yeah, yeah.
All right, take care now.
All right then.
All right,
Peace.
ciao, ciao.
La bang, la bang, oh yes. Let me say yes now. The lion in pan again. Oh, Rampanana love, neither just my skin. Hear me now, man. I me say yes now. The mountain lion in pan again. Oh, to ram up the dance style and honestly you show them. Ah, a long time I come, but I just a reach. A righteousness me come fit teach. And jajala me nah go preach. I me nah come to kill no teeth. Tell them fi stop feed on the bloody meat. A strictly vegetable, mankind should eat. Me say yes now. The lion is gone again. Oh, Rampanana no, neither just no skin. Hear me now, man. I me say yes now. The lion is gone again. Oh, the ram of the dance hall and I see it show them. Yes, I've been through a lot of tribulation, but I never changed my mind. Said I face a lot of disrespect, but I always keep on trying. But to the help and the powers of the Most High, I said my life will keep on shining. I say the heathen want to fight inside. They cannot take what is mine. I may say yes now. The lion in pan again. Oh, the ram of the dance style and all this you through them. Oh, I may say yes now. The lion in pan again. The ram of the dance style and all this